So let's talk about what happened in the last year. Vince kind of alluded to this. Last year we said thank you and good night to the Microsoft Partner Network, MPN, and the 18 silver and 18 gold competencies that we had in the ecosystem. I called that thing the House of Silver and Gold. And what had happened was in the early 2000s, we created the partner program, but we really didn't have a way to classify partner capability. So we said, well, what do we want to measure? We want to measure competence. How are we going to do that? Through competencies. Should we have a two-tier system? Sure, let's call it silver and gold. And so we invented the competency ecosystem. The channel was very simple back then. As the channel grew, we started to introduce cloud-first partners, CSPs. We introduced IoT and edge device partners. We introduced head-mounted wearables that focus on mixed and augmented reality in the industrial metaverse. None of those things existed in 2006 when the early ideas of MPN were being born. The iPhone didn't exist in 2006. In 2006, Google had been mainstream for about 2 years as a search engine. And so when we flash forward to a cloud-first world and the explosive growth of technology that came with it, the House of Silver and Gold started to get pretty full because we started shoving everybody into it, thinking that every business model needed the same thing, that every business model drove the same outcomes. And we realized quickly that was not true. So under the tail end of Gabriella's leadership, she said, hey, I think we need to rebuild this MPN thing. It's not serving the business anymore. It's not serving our partners, and our customers are like grossly confused on what these things mean. And so with Gav and then on to Rodney, we replatformed the ecosystem and said, we're going to deconstruct the House of Silver and Gold. And in its place, we're not going to build one home for all partners. We're going to build a neighborhood of homes with programmatic offerings available to every single partner type. And so we'll have a home for services partners and SIs. We'll have a home for ISVs. We'll have a home for partners that train other partners. We'll have a home for partners that provide support outcomes to our customers. We'll have a home for our CSPs. We'll have a home for our IoT and edge device partners. We'll have a home for partners that are building head-mounted wearables in the mixed reality industrial metaverse. We'll have homes that embrace the unique needs of those partner types. And so what we try to do is instead of creating a house, we're creating a neighborhood. And I had one of the Black Partner Growth Initiative leaders came to me in a Partner Advisory Council session about 1.5 years ago, and he asked me a question I couldn't answer. He said, Dan, what's the difference between a neighborhood and a community? I said, I don't know, aren't they the same thing? He goes, no. He said, a neighborhood becomes a community when it has the mechanisms to thrive, both economically and socially. He said, you have to think about that when you're building this neighborhood. You don't want a neighborhood, you want a community. That's what you're trying to create here. I said, okay. He goes, what are you missing? I said, I think I'm missing a center for commerce. I need a place for partners to go to transact their goods and services, to meet customers, to meet Microsoft field sellers, to meet other resellers. I need storefronts where partners can put their goods and services for sale and show them to the world, showcase the things that they've built and the things that they brought to market. I need a place where partners can qualify for incentives, a bank. I need a hospital where partners can go when they're stuck. I need mechanisms to make sure that we have planning processes so that we're not chasing the market, we're always out ahead of the market and make sure we're forward delivering to our customers what they expect. And he said, that's what you're missing. You have to create a community out of this ecosystem. You have to transform this neighborhood into a community. And so we start that, like when we talk about the messages of everything you heard this morning, it's that concept of a center for commerce, AppSource and the Azure Marketplace where you can list your goods and services for sale. Our CSP reseller ecosystem where you can take the things that you've built and you can expose those to thousands of indirect resellers around the world. A co-sell catalog that syndicates your stuff from our marketplace to Microsoft's internal field sellers so they can see the stuff that you've built. And they can attach that stuff when they have their customer on the phone. And that seller knows that they're not going to service that customer's needs with a first-party product and a direct sale. They know they have an ecosystem that comes from the left side of this picture that's built goods and services that will solve for what that customer needs. That's what the Center for Commerce is. And so when we talk about this movement to marketplace, that's what we mean. We do mean like deploying a transactable offer into a storefront, but that's not a means to an end, right? That's a step along the journey. You need to get that offer available so it can be syndicated to our field, so it can be made available as a public or private offer to our customers, so that it can be exposed to our CSP reseller ecosystem. That's why we're pushing so hard on this. And that's why we talk about this as the year of marketplace. Let's talk about where we go. So I'm going to be really transparent on this. Everybody sees 2 new letters on here that you didn't see me talk about last year. We put AI into the name, right? And if you were following us at Inspire, you're probably like, okay, Dan added AI to the partner program name. There's just more letters in the acronym. What does that really mean? And I'll be honest, like we are as early on this as all of you are. We have a couple of designations, what we used to call advanced specializations in market that are AI focused. And I expect we'll deploy more across the rest of our solution area. So we'll have AI workload coverage across all 6 CSAs. I expect that we're going to deploy a designation for ISVs very soon. We talked about this at Inspire. We're about 100 days from that thing coming to light in market, where we're not going to give you a badge for your company. We're going to give you a badge for the unique intellectual property that you've created, because that's what the difference between a services partner and an ISV is. As a services partner, you deliver a capability as a company that you can sell theoretically anywhere to anybody. As an ISV, the heartbeat of your company is the IP that you create, the packaged code that you sell to customers. And so the program will designate that. We'll designate the IP that you created across our solution areas, and we'll have AI-specific, industry workload-specific designations for that IP. That's what's coming. I can tell you, we had literally written every executive speech for Inspire last summer, from Satya to Judson to Nick Parker on down. We did reviews with Satya's team, and he said, AI is not the focus of this conversation and what you all have written. He said, go back to the drawing board, shred all of this and do it again. He's like, this is the moment to transform this ecosystem, because this is the moment where we are grabbing the headline. We have customers' attention and we have the press attention on AI. Everybody knows this is huge. Do not let this opportunity pass us by. And so that's where we went. We decided to add AI into the name of the program because we are, as a company, we sell the value of the Microsoft Cloud. The Microsoft Cloud brings the value of AI to life. And that's the way we'll bring this and make this real for customers.